My name is Scott Cartwright, and this is Tempor Footnotes.
I'm Jenny Lynn Cartwright. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Are you there?
I'm here. Are you there?
I'm there.
I can't see you.
You can't see me? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Oh, happy hour.
HH.
HH. So, what's new?
Nothing much other than people are just, I don't know, wanting to get out of the house, like go back to normal.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I think we said the same thing on the last,
Have we?
not the last episode, the one prior to this one.
And this is the last happy hour episode that we are going to have.
Why?
Good night. No, I was kidding.
No. Happy hour is not over.
Happy hour is not over.
I have one beer every night, and that's enough. And that's exactly how much I need.
I have a little bit of the opposite problem. I feel like I have a normal, consistent amount, and then I need to stop for like a week or two, and then I can slowly get back into things. But I'm having a beer with you. But I also took some time off, and I feel better. I feel rested and relaxed.
I only skipped my beer one time when we ran out of beer.
Well, that's how you know you don't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh man, we ran out of beer. We got to go to the store.
No.
We got to risk life and limb to get to the store to get beer.
It's just nice. I like it. But I also like soda, like cola.
Wait a minute.
What happened?
Keep talking.
Can you find Ote for me, please?
If you take me a picture with my stuffed animal, my stuffed animal coyote, can you give me a donation?
We have
I need to take a photo of you.
Oh.
Please find Ote, Marco.
Then you can
See, I will.
Yeah, we need to take a picture of you
Go.
later, bud. Coronavirus to burst another bubble, ? Carbonation shortage threatens seltzer, beer, and soda. From Forbes.
Okay, you have to hold Ote so that I can take a photo of you.
The word of the week is transportation.
Transportation. Échate para atrás. Is this your favorite stuffed animal?
Mama,
Give me your best smile.
that's amazing that Amazon vendors not oil.
No? Can you give me a smile? Can you hold Ote like from your heart? Like, is he your favorite stuffed animal? Really?
I have a lot of stuffed animals.
Okay.
Well, I have 3, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I have 4, right?
Okay.
No, I think we're playing. No, 4.
4?
Now I'm gonna have to telephone. We don't. Your telephone doesn't have enough charge, right?
No.
Did you get the picture?
I got a picture. It's not beautiful, but it's a picture.
Well, that's good.
I have to upload it to our school, like Marco's school's Facebook group, because we're doing like virtual learning, like distance learning. And this week happens to be Children or Child Appreciation Week. And every day we have to upload a picture with like whatever prompt they ask us to do. Today is a picture with your favorite stuffed animal, so I have to upload that. It's adorable.
It's cool. I'm nice. I feel nice. I feel good that they are having their interactions online and they see it, which I find it amazing that he's doing the reading and everything. You know, he's doing like VPK level stuff independently. So we ask him to do stuff basically, and he does it. He does his sign in, he does his handwriting, he does all of that stuff. And, you know, but he's doing it a little bit more independently, like alone, rather than like, I don't know, the structure of group, I guess, learning type of thing. And I'm impressed by it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I do too. I mean, it's sort of like he's on the frontier of new modes of learning that we are having to adjust to, but he's like going to be immersed in it like 100%. So I'm hopeful and thankful for that. I also find that it's a mix and match of my upbringing a little bit. And I don't know, it's kind of a return to kind of independent mindedness a little bit it's really cool. I don't know. I'm down with it.
Well, I was really worried about it a couple of weeks ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't upload the picture, Marco. I'll do it in a little bit. I was worried about like the amount of screen time that he was having, like TV time, because I have been able to sort of manage his time spent on my phone playing games or like it's not games, it's educational games. And I actually removed the YouTube app from my phone because it was getting out of control. But you brought up something important the other day when I was expressing that I was starting to get worried, like, oh my God, he's watching TV all the time. And you mentioned that I did that like all over summer, every summer. Like, this is a spring break. Like, it's okay. It'll be fine.
Well, I don't know. We also had access to PBS and stuff, and I'm thankful for PBS. You know, I don't know. I don't know if I ever said it here, and I probably am going to repeat myself millions of times, but I think about like 8th grade, you know, 8th grade science class. I never actually like looked at the book or did the like the take home assignments and stuff. I just watched Bill Nye the Science Guy, and it was always covering the content that was in class. And I always like aced all the tests just like watching episodes of Bill Nye the Science Guy. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought that was, you know, he's watching all sorts of cool programming that's out like on PBS. Like we just have digital rabbit ears in a television and PBS. When he wants to watch it, he can watch it whenever he's doing his homework. He does his homework. If he does like live stream videos of people reading books, like famous people reading books, like children's books.
Oh, yes.
He does that. He plays. He uses his imagination. He made a car out of furniture parts yesterday. That was really cool. Yeah, he's having a good old time.
So that's another thing that's really kind of like exciting to see happening in the world of like online.
Mm-hmm.
Is seeing so many people trying to help each other, like through free activities for school-age children. Like the one that we watched yesterday was, of course, it was like through PBS and whatever. And it was a read aloud that I could just play while I made food. And that was a huge help because it entertained him for a solid 20 minutes of him paying attention to someone reading a book aloud. Mm-hmm. That, yes, you and I read books to him at night sometimes. Not every night, because we don't. That's the reality. But when we do, like, you read them in English and I only read aloud to him in Spanish. And we take turns. But like having the chance to like find something online, someone else with the skill set and the energy to read a book after lunch, like I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
And he's going to enjoy it because he loves it. And that's the other thing. We used to have like an Apple TV when we lived in Texas, and he will change it every time. Like he will jump from show to show every 20 minutes. And now we just have one channel, and he doesn't even know how to change the channel. He doesn't even know that there is other channels available. And
They're
I'm
probably
okay
not
with that.
they're probably not that good anyway.
They're not. Maybe they are good. I don't know. I haven't explored it. But what
The-
I love about not having cable is that you don't have the guide, the TV guide, or the VCR, or anything that makes you skip. Like you watch, like he's watching whatever is on air. And that is like something that's really hard to deal with. Like even if, I mean, we don't watch TV, but like I bet that if we had a TV in our bedroom and we didn't have like a fast forward button to skip the ads, we will be like annoyed. Most people don't like dealing with that. So, and I think that's because our generation is so used to streaming. So anyways, that was just a thought that I had, that I'm really helpful for the people who are putting out read alouds for children during this quarantine. Because other people who are independent authors, independent school children authors, are doing that on Twitter, on Facebook. There is this guy who does drawings at lunchtime too, Mo, and we've watched it a couple of times, and he has provided a lot of relief, relieving pressure to that time of the day that I'm really thankful for.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for it too.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you're thankful for? You know what? The limitation of options I love right now.
Oh, what I was saying earlier about the
Yeah.
channel?
Yeah. I love the limitation of options because, there's an availability of like everything to the point where people take everything for granted. Like they just take it all for granted. And it's really cool just to not have to think about, consumer purchases or things like that. Like it's really nice just to be able to focus on creative things, focus on work, creative things, maybe have a little bit of time to watch a little bit of something, but I'm not really paying attention to it. Where it's the same thing that I've noticed with him, that he, he basically has kind of the limitation. It's insane to think that he can just go on Netflix, for instance, and have access to every children's story cartoon imaginable. And he's having to navigate what he wants. He's 5. Like, it's kind of cool that he has, just PBS to go through, and it's educational, and he latches onto the things that he latches onto, and he doesn't have to worry about the horrible feeling of not knowing what you want.
Browsing, the infinite
browsing. The infinite browsing aspect of it,
which is terrible. I'm guilty of it. But ever since he has the TV, he doesn't watch Netflix on my phone. And it's there, but he doesn't use it because he's fascinated with the Wildcrats.
Yeah, I'm happy for that. I'm really happy for that.
What another source that I found that was super helpful was the audiobooks or animated books through the library.
Yeah, the our county library system is really good. So I don't know, and that might be something to find out, to, I don't know, I guess talk about. is that I don't know, like to be able to register for the library, if you can do it. Can you do it? You can do it through the mail, probably, right?
They probably have a system to register for a library card online at this time, anywhere.
Our county library system, the Orange County library system in Florida, is really good. I haven't been in any other place that's had as good of a library system. You can end up having like LinkedIn Learning for free. You can have you could have books mailed to you. What are the other services that you've dived into that you really enjoy?
Oh, I love the streaming of music. It's called Hoopla, and you can basically download or stream albums, movies, ebooks, animated children books, audiobooks, anything and everything. And it's absolutely free.
And then you have Canopy too.
Oh, and Canopy, yes, that's another system. It's like more critical films that are hard to find, like more independent filmmakers, and hard to find documentaries that are excellent in their craftsmanship through Canopy. Like you can access all of that for free through the library. I also there is another one that offers like free magazines through the library. It's called RB Digital, and you can read The New Yorker, Woodworkers Journal.
The Woodworkers Journal.
All sorts of even the illustration magazine that I was showing you the other day. I forgot the name.
It was like the Computer Arts Journal or something.
Computer Arts. They have a huge collection, and I really enjoy browsing through it. Like a lot of the magazines that they offer are pricey to begin with, and having them access through the library, it's really amazing. And through RGB Digital, you can also stream Quello, which showcases live music.
Yeah, that's the other one that you were into like the last couple of days.
Yes, we were playing a really good live concert from Interpol the other day.
Yeah,
that we were falling asleep with. It was so good. And we also played, what was the other one? The Cold War Kids.
Yeah. I was making fun of my friend, or I wasn't making fun of him, but my friend Patrick was making fun of me for liking the Cold War Kids.
I like the Cold War
I
Kids.
like the Cold War Kids. I like music that he likes, but I also like music that he doesn't like.
So funny.
Because I have independent thoughts in my head. Anyway. Oh. I hit a wall.
Oh, yeah, you said that earlier.
I did say that earlier. I know that it's the previous one. So look above, and it was in that one.
It will be below.
Would it be below? Oh, whatever. Chronologically, whatever. This is what, probably 9 now. That was 8, something like that. Anyway. No, it's strange. Like trying to keep focused on tasks or keep focused on things is really tricky when you know you're about to have a couple of weeks in between spring and summer. And maybe I'm going to read. I'm going to prepare for some new semester, but man. Oh, and all of this.
That's hard.
It is hard. I mean, people are like, no, it's not hard. You just get to stay at home. You know, this is like the antsiness is what's going to make people go back out. And I don't know. I was reading something today about the first wave versus the second wave of influenza in 1918 and how the second wave was so much worse than the first wave. And it's probably due to the fact that people get restless and they want to go out, and it's not happening to me, so it's not happening to anybody else and all that. And I don't know.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I was speaking with my design colleagues today.
Yeah.
And we were saying, yes, it feels like work is picking up. Like projects are picking up.
Yeah.
But we are still in quarantine. I still don't know how to say that word. Quarantine. And yes, work is picking up. We're being pushed to the verge to come up with new ideas, new concepts, deliver products, deliver things. But we are still being a lot challenged. Like, not only because we have been safe at home, but because we have to deal with family issues, children, food, health issues, mental issues, all of it. So things are like sort of going back to the normal flow of things work-wise, but like, the world is not the same. Like, we woke up this morning and what was it? The oil barrel was negative how many dollars? Like,
Here's a mental exercise, okay?
I don't know.
If it's negative, I think it was negative 37.65 for West Texas Intermediate crude. Here's an idea. Would it be, how much money would we make if we took all the furniture out of our house and we then filled this place full of oil barrels where all we had was a place to sleep and maybe sit down?
I don't think.
And then you held that oil
that's
for
a
like
hypothesis.
for like 2 months. Like, you'd end up having to calculate the volume of the place and then the dimensions of an oil barrel and get an estimate and say, okay, somebody's gonna pay you. I don't know, like, maybe we could get, I don't know, back of the envelope estimate here, maybe like 100 barrels of oil. Do you think we get 100 barrels in here?
I don't think regular citizens will be buying oil from anyone else. Like,
if you got 100 barrels of oil, that would be like 37. They would pay you $3,700 roughly, and you store it in your house. And then and be mindful of the fact that it would probably be stored in an oil drum, so you wouldn't smell anything. It would basically be sealed, right? And then you held it until oil reached $30 a barrel again, and then you would make it another 3,000. Yeah, that's not worth it.
I don't think so.
No, that's not worth it.
I don't think a regular citizen will do that.
True story. We when our shop was running back in the day, my family's cabinet shop was running back in the day. There was a tenant that was a neighbor to us in our light industrial property that he stored like fuel additives. So he was basically running a storage business, storing. He had basically had barrels and barrels and barrels of like oil drums and fuel additives and things like that. And it made the landlord awfully nervous because we were a woodworking shop with we basically we had huge dust collectors and things like that, but we ultimately had basically sawdust and all manner of things that could start a fire pretty easily next to
a ticking bomb.
Yeah, but it was also in a unincorporated area that was adjacent to the township or the city that I was living in, that probably has strict zoning based on that, because it was a fairly wealthy residential neighborhood that was adjacent to us. That would probably cause a pretty intense fire and whatever else, around. And then you basically could like walk to the end of the block and then look over the other side, and then there was like houses going on, like subdivisions and things.
Nothing happened though.
Oh, nothing happened. But, that's sort of like when you were, I don't know, ever since we left Houston, all those stories about explosions and stuff in those types of neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Like that was a thing. Like you could do whatever you want to do in those like light industrial warehouses, warehouse parks and stuff.
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah. But that's how things are made. I don't know. Anyway, regulations and whatnot. It's kind of a weird time in that regard. I don't know. I'm thankful for this, but I'm trying I understand people's desperation, and I hope that everybody is still in tune with people's sense of desperation during this time, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like how people ultimately are going to think as this drags on, like the desire for money or the desire for your life, your future, all that stuff.
Well, I feel like people are caring a lot more about the economic health than the actual health of the population. And that's why you see or feel that people want to get back to work right away.
Well, they want to get back to work. I mean, it's like you right now. You're working, but then, you know, everybody has taken some version of a furlough in this. Mm-hmm. Either a wage cut, or they're not working, or they're reducing, you know, like reducing, you know, like summer contracts or whatever else. Mm-hmm. And they're doing this. They're probably doing more work because they're having to adapt to this digital environment, and then they don't have any space in between. You know, I don't know. It's sort of something I was listening to the other night, and it's unwatchable. But Bill Maher's show is like,
what do you mean unwatchable?
It's like if you watch the segments, like it's unwatchable. Like he needs an audience to filter it. Oh. So it's weird how he basically just has canned laughs and canned like stock video, and
he's not funny anymore.
He never was funny, but I value the show at one time. I value the voice just as much as, or the point of view, you know, corporate center, slight left, but really center right, you know. I don't know. I value the point on the spectrum, on the map. But he was saying something where it was like being what was it? It was valuing LA traffic or something. I was like, I never thought I was going to like be appreciative of LA traffic, but I'm appreciative of traffic.
Because he misses the traffic?
No, I think what you miss in the traffic is the decompression time between work and home. You miss that space where the difference is here. Yeah. Or like, I understand that. I guess I understand that point, and it's a valid point.
The unwinding component, like, you know, it's sort of like I don't know, just diving into this format, for instance. Podcast analytics are way down, mainly because that's what people do when they, you know, are in the car or they're in a cubicle or whatever. And I find that interesting. You know, they want to unwind. People want to unwind in different ways, like in that interstitial space between work and home. And I totally get that, you know. It's a lot to be, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's probably what it feels like to be in a submarine. Or in the International Space Station.
The International Space Station. How about this? Like, we can all pretend that we are astronauts on the ISS, but the only difference is we have gravity.
Do you think the people who are up there in the International Space Station know what's happening?
Probably. They have internet and they have communication.
Will they freak out? Like,
I don't know. I would only speculate, but I imagine like the ISS it's been around for a while, and it probably is very, very, you know, like you imagine like your house gets kind of like, I need to clean the house type of feeling. How do you clean the ISS? Like, how do you do sprucing or cleaning?
I guess they have vacuums and everything.
I don't know. But I imagine the ISS is kind of, you know, dirty.
Maybe.
A little bit. I would imagine it would
fake.
Be. It's not fake. You can see it. You can see the ISS. You can see the ISS in telescopes. We could go on Amazon and buy a telescope. We could make a telescope if we had to. We don't have the facility. We can't make a telescope here. Let's be honest. But we could totally see the ISS from an Amazon telescope if we bought a telescope on Amazon.
So I wonder if people at NASA, I guess they're considered essential workers.
I don't know. Are you speculating?
I'm just having thoughts in my head.
You do have a laptop in front of you if you wanted to check that.
No, I don't want my browser history to be about any of this. So
Why not?
I'm very careful of what I search online.
That's funny. Oh yeah, another thing that I did. We have lights over our kitchen island that I'm looking at, and we live in like.
This is a good story.
It's a good story. It really is a good story. I have like Roscoe photo gels that like it's like the glamour shot photo gels that I would never use in a million years for
then
anything.
why do you have it?
Oh no, it was a big pack, and then you bought the big pack, and and I do use a couple of them. Like there's some of the yellows that I use that are anyway, whatever. But it's sort of like there's some that I wouldn't use unless I don't know. Anyway, so I thought they would have a better use if I gelled the lights that are like basically the accent lights that are above our kitchen island in our apartment, so that at nighttime we could turn off the main lights and just have the accent lights on, and it would feel like a dive bar.
We've been doing it for 2 days now, two nights.
I like it.
And it really feels like you are at a very dingy bar.
Yeah, because it mixes light. It mixes light that isn't like the standard tungsten light around and around and around.
Because we have been talking about like when things are normal, like where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
I don't want to do anything.
I just want to get a poke bowl.
Yeah.
And a sushi bar, because those are the things that we never cook at home.
But you don't want to do takeout right now?
I don't feel comfortable with takeout.
I don't really want to spend the money. See, that's the thing. The economy is a wheel, and what do you call it? It's called the circulation of currency.
Supporting each other.
Like I spend $1 to you,
so
that person spends to somebody else, and so on and so on and so on. That comes back into my pocket, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I just go to the grocery store and go home. I just don't feel like that isn't like a deep-seated desire that I have right now.
I want to eat poke, but I don't think I will enjoy it as much eating it as a takeout.
What I've learned since having a child, and this is 5 years at this point, where I feel like that I value going out to eat is that somebody is like, it's in a situation where somebody's watching Marco. And it's like, it's not something that I can enjoy it in a way that isn't with like a break.
What do you mean?
Like a break. Like, I mean, there's instances where we have to go get food out because we're around, but that's a different experience where it's just you and me, like hanging out and having a date. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it more in the date context. And just going and getting food takeout is sort of like, I don't know, it's like the equivalent of like making a TV dinner. I would rather make dinner knowing that it's probably going to be healthier and simpler and, I don't know, a wide variety of different things associated with making food. Like I have to make something. I have to take my mind off of something to make something, that type of thing. Rather than just being like, I'm just going to go get dinner. I'm going to make dinner, or I'm going to get it for takeout and drive home with it.
No, we've never been that kind of family.
No.
Even when the economy, or even before the COVID-19, like we'll never go takeout.
And there's like plenty of other like local businesses and local, raw commodities type people. Like coffee, for instance, would be one. Like I would rather focus on finding awesome coffee, and things like that. I know this is awfully bougie.
Yeah, there are far more difficulties other people are facing.
Yeah, I know. Have you read stories about other countries, how they're dealing with it? I was reading a story today about a guy from a guy in Baghdad that was a I guess a push cab taxi driver, or like a, like a hand cart taxi driver.
Oh, what did you say, in India?
No, in Baghdad.
In Baghdad.
And it was where it was the difference between starving or getting fined by the police to go and work from staying at home. That there's no facility, there would be no like government bailout aspect to giving somebody like a UBI, Universal Basic Income component, to be able to get through this time, where it was like the decision, like brass tacks, do you work and get fined or go into jail, or do you not work and your family goes hungry?
Wow. I have seen this what I think it's called Quick Table, or nowadays those are two Instagram profiles I follow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they are like true reporting or community-based reporting. Sometimes I find them to be a little bit over the top reporting.
Yeah. Well, over the top reporting.
Meaning like I think it's called like yellow news.
Yellow journalism.
Yellow journalism.
Yeah.
I take it with a grain of salt. I watch it and then I think about it. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. But one of those two, they published a story of like a police officer somewhere in Miami, basically having abuse of his own power against someone who was helping or clearing the sidewalk and putting things on his truck to take to the homeless population. And the police officer just basically started yelling at him. He didn't trust who he was. It was disturbing because now is when we're starting to see like more and more discrimination against people of color, minorities, and all in all, like abuse of power, police power, authority. And that's what scares me the most.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any control over it.
Yeah.
You don't have any defense. You don't have a say. And it's really disturbing and scary. And that's what makes me angry. And that's why I don't watch TV.
I think I'm not watching. I keep abreast of things, but the moment that it makes my heart jump or blood like boil and like simmer, I immediately stop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm trying to form my words. This is, when you lose your train of thought, you hear the dead air, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way it goes. I know what a concern that I have. I don't want to say I'm scared, or a concern that I have is, as this goes on, I'm noticing kind of, I don't know, a merry-go-round between ideology in this country, where it's like you have the people that are like, you pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, and the other people are like, well, there's no bootstraps that you can pull yourself up from in this unique set of circumstances in terms of, this recession or this bad economic period is not based on anything other than health. Like you can't get the economy jump started, right? So you can't get the economy jump started because people can't work. They can't go out to physical places, right? Are you following me? Mm-hmm. Okay. the moment that they do, you're causing a situation that collapses the state in the sense that you're going to have an overflow of sick in the hospital system, and that's going to collapse services, all sorts of services. It's going to cause fear and whatnot. So, the only thing that you can ultimately do in this circumstance is, do some type of UBI system in the interim. This is also where it's showing the cracks and flaws. It's like why, businesses and corporations and whatnot shouldn't be responsible for health insurance. This has been a system that's been around since at least World War II. Basically whenever there was wage freezes and things like that for the war effort and stuff. And that was basically the way that you could end up giving somebody a benefit was like, okay, health insurance. But the cost of health insurance has inflated greatly as technology and pharmaceuticals and things that have taken hold. That you're really dealing with a healthcare situation where, if you do lose your if you're lucky enough to have a job that you have health insurance, you lose it the moment that you lose your job type of thing. I mean, this is not new. So it ends up kind of creating a wide variety of challenges in this where you have people that, as this goes on, are going to be like, well, I don't want to have to pay for this person that doesn't have it. I kept mine. I managed to make it out of this gauntlet, and I don't care about anybody else who lost it, And, right now that's not happening, but in time, I wonder if that does happen. Like I want this back to normal. I want to go out to eat every night. I want this, I want that. I want, all that. And I'm concerned about the moment when our largesse for humanity fades a little bit, to where it's more like, I want to get ahead. I want to start thinking about my future and the greediness of me outside of somebody else. That's my fear. Is that a fair fear?
It's a super valid fear. I understand it.
Yeah. And I sense the desperation. I sense the desperation in a few different circumstances that I don't want to talk about right now. I'll talk about it later, but and I'm sure everybody has their own version of it. Mm-hmm. It's not unique to me or you. Like everybody's family has it. Every person has it in their network.
Because we're all going through this.
Because we're interconnected.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Yeah, that's a valid fear. But at the same time, this is not just like gonna go down to hell. Like, I think more people are going to be able to care for each other because we went through this pandemic. I think that, yeah, a lot of people are gonna be like stepping on to one another because they want to fight for their job, they want to fight for their power, they want to fight for their wants and their needs, and they want to put food in their family's table. But I'm more of an optimist. Like, this is actually gonna be good.
I hope so.
I think that the way of doing business is going to be more innovative.
For the longest time, I've always thought that the way of doing business was really antiquated. And like online learning, I'm really excited about. And I can tell you instances of why I'm really excited about it.
I know you're excited about it, but there are obstacles and roadblocks and things that still need to be fixed, especially for people with special needs. They are
working through it.
I hope so.
I don't know. Okay, I'll tell a story. I was working a summer camp job in Atlanta last summer. And I was teaching a class. And do you know what the class was called?
What's called?
Twitch game streaming.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was like, and everybody was like, I don't understand why that's a class. But I had a student that was autistic in that class. And what I found that was amazing
Oh, yeah.
was that he was practicing how to talk and converse with other people by learning how to communicate through like a game stream. And I don't know, I was taking a little bit of a break and I was watching like some Saturday Night Live shorts as they're doing their quarantine Saturday Night Live stuff. And they had a skit where they were making fun of game streaming, and there was this dude who was getting pwned like playing games, and he was just like going off on people and doing the whole like, you don't criticize people, everybody love everybody, like no toxic gamer culture, and
No
like
judging.
and then he was getting pissed off and like being a toxic gamer. And anyway, so it was from the educational aspect of needs children. I found in that circumstance, it was a really cool class to be able to be a part of and basically teach them how to communicate with these forms, like audio forms, streaming and all of that. But I saw instant relief or instant training that could be happening. I mean, I was reading a article during that time. I forget from where, but it was how people that were streaming like last year would have no followers on Twitch, and they were just basically just talking into digital void, practicing how to talk with each other and how to come to grips with communicating in the digital world and digital context. And I think it's necessary. I absolutely think it's necessary to be able to, do this. And that's why I'm hopeful for Marco, because I feel like that Marco sees it and knows how to do it and immediately knows the difference between real life Abu Ernesto and Abu Jenny Ann and FaceTime Abu Ernesto or Zoom Abu Ernesto and Jenny Ann,
Yeah.
And how many people older are maybe having difficulty with it, like, so the older kids now are having difficulty with being able to get up in the morning and how to manage their time working in this environment. And we have expectations of them. Like, had a conversation last night during my final meetup for one of my classes this week, and they were like, well, how do you do this? And we're having like a long conversation about how to establish routine when you're basically a remote worker. Like, we're training everybody now how to be a remote on-demand worker.
It's challenging. But again, I think we're going to learn more than not.
Yeah, everything's a learning experience. We have a drastic sea change shift that's happening right now.
And maybe it's meant to happen. Maybe this is exactly what we needed.
Maybe.
As a society, as people,
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm like optimistic that this is gonna be effective in the long run.
I really do think it's going to be effective in the long run. I also think about it in terms. Remember houses that had the niches. Like, remember my parents' apartment where they had the niche for a TV that doesn't exist now. They don't make them, like the big box TVs.
Yes, I remember.
I think about architecture and how like design is going to happen where people have to work in like rental spaces or houses, and how the shift in, maybe not needing a garage or changing the garage space into something else, or, in the way that architecture has changed over time, that's something that's going to shift with these times. A lot of why I think, and I think about failures over time in terms of businesses and why they have to move on and adapt, is that I feel like my dad's business in the 90s succeeded fairly well, was because he had to put together these home entertainment system consoles for very large houses, and he could do it. Like, meaning like you had like big screen TVs and big boxes and stuff. And then as all the technology ultimately shrunk, and the electronics, the audio systems and all that, those needs dried out, and kitchen cabinets could just be kitchen cabinets. It could be, anybody can make them. Like he got jobs based on, okay, well, you do this, and some other cabinet maker will make the other cabinets in this house, but you make this. And that's how it went for a lot of time until, the technology changed, and, he was getting less and less of that work until, nobody needed it anymore. And now everybody just needs like standard cabinets or whatever, and drop the cost of them and whatnot. Time shifts and time changes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Time changes. Things change.
Exactly. Life changes.
Life changes.
And it's a speed in how it changes that's catching everybody by surprise.
Yep.
So on that note, do you want to make dinner?
Yes, I want to eat pizza.
I want to eat pizza. Tonight's menu, we have a Mediterranean. No, it's going to be really good. So
I wish we had to.
This is something that I learned, and I wish we lived in, I wish that HEB was in Florida, so that we could have the HEB pizzas, because they are really good, because they have the fluffy crust on the edges.
You think I do miss Central Market?
I miss Central Market. I also miss the Amalfi Coast pizza from Central Market.
Was it from there?
Well, it was a Central Market brand.
Oh.
I don't know if they have that now. I hope they still have that. I have a soft spot in my heart for Amalfi Coast.
But the pizza we had a couple of days ago from Whole Foods Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
I can't bounce on my bottom.
You can? Oh, wow.
The one that we ate a couple of days ago, I think it was Saturday. From, I call it Whole Foods Amazon because
it's Amazon. It's all Amazon. Everything's Amazon.
It was barbecue.
It's the barbecue pizza.
Oh, it was so good.
So what I do with the Mediterranean pizza or any of those vegetable pizzas is I just throw a ton of greens on it, and it becomes like a flatbread salad. And
that's so good.
That's for dinner tonight. So on that note, we are going to get out of here.
But hold on. We got to remind people that we have images on the website for every episode on tempormag.com.
That is right. So whenever we post these podcast episodes on tempormag.com, I try to take a collection of photographs and put them together. So kind of is another exercise to be able to have photo as we are going with this editorial photo.
Yeah, that goes with each episode. So make sure to check it out. And thank you for listening. Thank you for keeping up with us.
Yeah, and putting up putting up with us. And as soon as we have our EPUB out, we are going to notify and let everybody know about the EPUB, and that is in the works. So
and thank you to Simon for the beautiful song.
Yeah, and thank you for the beautiful song. And we're going to get out of here, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.